So does everybody usually show their face, or do some people just?
It varies. We
Yeah.
let everyone choose what they want to do.
Yeah. Hi, Denise from Maryland. Hey, Carmen. Jennifer, I might be even talking to you guys. I can't tell where. This is like blowing my mind here. Hey, Anna. Jersey here. All right. That's near my New York. Tammy doesn't have a camera or microphone. Okay, that's all right. They
Well, I mean, can you see my face?
Who is talking?
Deborah Allman.
No, we can't, Deborah, your camera is
No.
off.
Can't
How
see.
do I turn that on? Because I don't see it either. So I was like, okay, does that mean they can see me or not?
No.
You have to run your mouse.
Start video.
Yeah,
Okay.
there you are.
Oh, there it is.
Hi. Good to see you, Deborah.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I am great. I'm so excited about your grandbabies and everything.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
You're going to catch up with me in a minute.
Oh, yeah. How many do you have?
11.
Oh, yeah. No, that's not
You
going
got
to.
ways to go.
I have one more on the way, so that'll be 9. But
Oh
it's,
my God.
I'm okay with that.
I know you are.
They're pretty busy. I had to rest after that.
They were so cute.
They
Right.
are.
They're good little kids. It's only a day and a half. I could survive.
All right. So we are streaming on YouTube. Welcome to summer camp. This is amazing that we've got Eileen here this year. And I'm really excited because I'm going to be learning how to do journals with you as well. So welcome. For those of you who are from Eileen's community, I'm Alexandra, and I am the owner of Maker Forte and the Hedgehog Hollow. So sometimes, because our email service has been around a long time, you might see emails come from Alexandra and the Prickle or the Hedgehog Hollow. It's all the same thing. That's my blog and YouTube channel. And then we started Maker Forte as a collaboration of designers bringing products together. So thank you, Eileen, for agreeing to do this year. I'm excited because I have never made a journal in my life. So it's going to be just as new for me as well. And I do have a couple of things that Bethany has sent me, so I want to make sure I cover those off. First of all, this is being streamed to YouTube, as I mentioned. So Bethany will send you all the YouTube link either later tonight or first thing tomorrow morning. There will be a PDF wrap up of each session as well. But Amanda, who does our wrap ups, is actually on vacation this week. So you won't get that till next week, but you will have access to the video straight away. We talked about that. The supply list has been posted in the Facebook group and will also be in tonight's wrap up email. And finally, so Eileen's going to kind of go through some inspiration with you, some ideas, I think, this week on different things and themes you can do in your book. So if there is anything you need from the supply list, anything you want to add, we will have some other things from the box available as we use them, just in case you need extras. But anything from the supply list that's in the store, there is a 10% off code that Bethany has made for you. It's just the word summer camp, all one word, and it is valid until midnight tomorrow night. So it's the 15th. I'm guessing she did PST. Actually, I can check and just double check. So if my background looks a bit different, it is a bit different. I saw someone mention it. I'm actually in Phoenix right now for a conference. And so I'm doing this sitting in our Airbnb, which is great. So Bethany says she did EDT, but she's going to change it. So your summer camp is 10% off the whole store. It excludes gift cards and events and that kind of stuff, but everything else is in there. And everything that's Eileen's as well, stamps, dies, all that stuff is included in that sale too. And yes, it's valid until midnight tomorrow night. So you have all of tonight and all day tomorrow. PST. And someone says stay inside. It's freaking hot. It's what was it? 105 today? 110. It was 110 today where we are right now. So Cody is traveling with me. Cody actually made and cut every single one of your white rubber stamps in your boxes. So he is my white stamp pro. And we are traveling right now because we are working on a new Maker Forte community. And so that's what we're out here working at. So some fun things coming up. Tammy says thank you. Okay, so I'm going to take the spotlight off of me, and I'm going to be watching the chat, Eileen, so I'll interrupt you if anyone asks anything, so you don't have to
Great.
keep an eye on that
Okay.
as well.
All
Let
right, 'cause
me-
that's a lot to look at.
yeah, I got it. I got you.
Thank you. Hey, everybody. It's good to see you all. All right. So I have been cleaning all day to clear off the area, so I have room to show you all the things I want to show you. So what I thought I would do today is, we're all excited to make our journals, and there are so many things that you can do that I thought I would give you some inspiration and also some ideas. And last night, when I was thinking, how am I going to show them what to do? I made a journal so I can show you how it all works, and it's how I organize things. So I'll be sharing this, but that's the first thing that came to my mind. So when I sit down to make a journal, I usually have something in mind. Like, is there some event coming up? Am I going to travel? Am I just every day and I want to make lists? There are just so many options that it's kind of overwhelming sometimes, even when you get some nice paper and you want to use it, but it's like, well, which one, or, it's just a lot of decisions. So this may help or may not help if you have, a lot of inspiration, but I would like you for this week to kind of think about what it is that you want to do your journal about, and kind of try to focus a little bit on a topic, an event, a color, whatever it is that you're in the mood for. This is not going to probably be your last journal. This will be your first journal that you're going to learn on. So, I wouldn't recommend it being like an heirloom journal unless you've made a lot of them before. And in that case, go to town and just do it up. I did want to kind of go through the supplies and each week, how I have it organized. This week is intro to journaling. Next week, we'll be actually creating the journal cover. And there is something I want to talk about at the end of this about that. The third class will be 3 ways to make an insert book. Those are the books that go inside the journal. The one that we're going to put together kind of in class is a traveler's notebook style. And that one is bound together with elastic, so you can take books in and out and you're not sewing them in permanently. I'll show you how you can do that. But the one that I'm going to make will be a traveler's notebook style. That way, if you make a mistake or you don't like the book that you did, you can take it out and put in another one, or just, interchange them. The fourth class is going to be adding pockets, tucks, and tags. And that's all of the fun stuff that goes in there. Once you have your kind of skeleton put together, your book cover, your insert books, then we'll be adding things to the pages. The fifth week will be stamp your story, and that's going to be where we add in our stamps, and that could be sprinkled in throughout. I'm not like, super regimented about how you do this. If you have time and you want to do a lot 1 week or 2 weeks and you want to get ahead, go ahead and do that. This is all kind of just learn as you go. And if you've already done journals and you know how, you could make 10 journals while we're in class, and, we'll be sharing them as we go. And, if I think, can we do that, Alex? Do we have like a Facebook group or somewhere, or could we do that in the beginning, or, is there, I'm sure there's a way we can do that. Even if it's just in the beginning of class, we could all go through and look at everybody's, that would be fun. And then the last class is going to be bookbinding and finishing. And that's where we're going to do our closures and, any kind of last minute things that we haven't done. If you have any questions, we can do that. We'll be doing that in each class too. So don't be, concerned. We do have a Facebook group. I'm thinking, yeah, we can just post them in as we, get them done. and that way we can all learn together. So if you have any questions, you know, I'll be in the group, so I can't say I'll answer immediately, but I will get to them and take a look. Okay, so that's kind of how I have the class organized. And so today we're doing intro to journaling, because I know a lot of you, or some of you, I don't know how many. Is there a way to like raise your hand or anything? Or can I just look? If you have never done a journal before, I'm going to scroll in this little gallery thing, and please forgive me if I don't know. But if you've never done a journal before, just kind of put your hand up and I can look. Okay, let's see. I can't tell the ones that don't have cameras on, but all right. Well, it looks like, you know, we could be in good shape that a lot of you have done journals, but whatever it is, if it's a simple book or a very complicated book. Oh, there's Janet saying never done one. It's a little hard to hear you. Alex sounded louder. Yeah, she's got the main mic there, I think. So I'm not sure. We had a lot of feedback as usual, as I usually have on my lives at one point or another. So I had to fix that here. So I'm sorry if you can't hear me. I'll try and talk a little louder. You have done some journals before. You've made lots of books and mini albums, but not junk journals. Okay, that's another thing I wanted to talk about tonight. And I'm going to show you some of the papers that I tea-dyed the other day, and just kind of give you a little background on that and why you'd want to make a junk journal, because it sounds weird. Like, who wants to put junk in a journal? Which I did make fun of, and then I loved it. So we can go through that and just kind of give you the basic idea of junk journaling, which is pretty popular right now. So we can talk about that too. So when I think about what kind of journal I want to make, I kind of start a list. So one of the journals that I have is a book of lists, because it's a good place to kind of keep track of things. Like I have lists like things I need from Home Depot, things I need to buy at the store, journals I want to make, papers I need to buy, you know, all kinds of lists that I want to keep track of. So a lot of people do that on their phone. I like the actual writing of things because I think it helps me to remember better. And it's just not as fun. You know, I like to write. I like to get markers. I like to have pens, and I love paper. So to me, it's just more fun to write it down. And also, I think the act of writing it helps me to remember better. So what I usually do is when I decide to make a journal, you know, I start writing down what would I like to make? What do I want to use in it? What color am I in the mood for? What kind of tone do I want it to be? Is it going to be like a shabby chic, or is it going to be made out of metal or fabric, or, you know, what am I going to use it for? So all of those things I kind of try to narrow down first. There are a couple things with this journal die that we're going to use that you need to think about too, because it has an adjustable spine. You can make it thick or you can make it thin. So you want to think about what you're going to put in there. How much stuff are you going to have to add to it? Do you want the thick spine or thin spine? So, you know, just things like that. Also, what supplies do you want to include? I don't know about you guys, but I have a ton of paper, and I sometimes hoard it, I will admit, but I'm starting to like, just, it's too much. So I'm starting to just kind of use it. And you know, so then you'd have to go through all that stuff. It takes a while to assemble all the supplies. So I'm going to go through the supply list in a minute just and tell you why you might want these things, just so that when you're looking in your studio or whatever, you can start gathering those things, and even maybe have like a little place where you can sit down and work, because it's a pain every time you want to you know, do something else in your work area. It's nice if you can have all that stuff in one place, or even put it in like a little carrier or something where you can keep it all together so that when you want to work on it, it's all there. So I can show you some of the kind of organizing things that I have, but I'm probably just like you, like, I like to use berry crates. So when I go to Costco, I get a bunch of berry crates and I stack all of my stuff in one of them and I put a label on it, you know, whatever journal. And then I know when I want to go back and work on it. Yes, I have to take it out again, but it is all in one spot. Carmen's husband says she has enough paper to cover the planet a couple of times. Uh-oh, well, that, you know, he hasn't been in my place, so who knows? Let's see, what can you do ahead of time? Well, I just said you can organize all your stuff. You might want to make a journal for a gift. And in that case, you would be thinking about the person that you're giving it to. Maybe it's some kind of anniversary. We did a little journal for my dad when he turned 80. And that was kind of fun because, you know, when my grandma turned 80, we did a scrapbook for her and it was big and, you know, kind of bulky. This one we made was just like the last year. So everybody who, you know, was contributing towards this journal, they made like a couple pages and we put them in the journal book and it wasn't as huge. So, you know, this is kind of a nice size that's not overwhelming. You can make a bunch of them and, you know, they don't take a lot of time. The thing about it is that's nice is the die that we're using is called the journal die. It's a traveler's notebook size, which means it's about 8 3/4 by 4.5. And then again, like I said, the spine is adjustable. So you can make it like 3/8 of an inch, or you can make it about 1 inch and 1/8, I think is what the final one is. You can also build up the spine. So there's really not that many limits. You can put a lot of pages in it if you want, but you don't have to. So what I would say is kind of make it the normal size for this class. And then if you want to expand or, you know, go smaller, go bigger, you can do that easily. Okay. So I think what I'm going to do is go through and show you some samples just so you have some idea of what I'm talking about and the size of it and all that. I think it'll help. And I can show you what the die looks like. I think Alex has that in the shop. I have some in my Etsy store if anyone's interested. And I have other dies too that make other books. So I know a lot of you are familiar with them, some aren't. So if you want to go take a look, that would be fine too. And Alex, could you put my camera on the other, the down facing? Thank you. Okay. There we go. So this is the name, or this is what it looks like, journal. So boring a name, but I don't know what to call it. So this is the journal. And this is what it looks like. You've gotten one in your kit, which I'll go over in a minute, but let me show you some of the other materials that you might want to use if you want to make another one. This is Sizzix mat board. This is called the mixed media board. This is the mat board. That's what your die is cut out of. Okay, and I'm going to show you how it works because I usually like to show, I usually like to have you cut it because, you know, magically getting something in a kit, you don't know how to get to that point. So these dies, they're called scoreboards dies, and they're meant to be used with thick material like this, mat board, chipboard, anything up to about 1/16 of an inch. And the reason that you want to do that is because you want a nice sturdy cover for your book. You don't want something that's going to fall apart. So that's why I like the mat board. But you can use leather, you can cut it out of a whole bunch of materials. It's a steel rule die, which means that you're able to cut thick things out of it, not just the little skinny dies. These are some other things that I'm going to be using because we're, you know, cutting heavy duty material. I like to have a nice heavy duty adhesive to keep it all together. So this is a product that I have with ThermoWeb, and these are my red line tapes. So this is what I'll be using. Use whatever you have at home. And all right, let's show some samples here. All right, I just said how you want to use heavy duty materials. Well, this is one that's cut out of watercolor paper. I had just been playing with it and I really liked this piece and I thought, you know, I bet I could make a journal out of this. So I didn't like the middle as much, but I cut that out of watercolor paper and then I laminated it. So you're able to do that. And this is how it all goes together. It's 2 pieces, you know, and then these are some of the little inserts that I put inside. So when we talk about insert books, that's what these are, just little groupings of pages that go inside your book. All right, now here's another thing that you can do with this die. You don't have to make a journal. You could make like this little shadow box. And that was kind of fun. These were some flower dies I had coming out and I just really like that piece. That is the label that comes with the die. So you have that one, I think. So I like to use a lot of recycled materials like, you know, sheet music and stuff like that. These books, a lot of them are made by my team. They're very talented. This is Elizabeth Robinson. So you can do inking in here, all those beautiful stamp pads that you have that Maker Forte has, and we're going to be doing some of that. I have a whole bunch here. I'm going to go through a lot faster because there's inspiration and then it's like, whoa, that is too much. Now, I know that Alex had talked about making a recipe book, and I'm sure hers would look different than this, but here is a recipe book, which is kind of cool. Now, she bound this in a whole different way, which we're kind of going to go over. But this is the same die. And then what I really liked about this was Debbie Bankston. She took pages from an old recipe book and used them as her background. And then she made all these little pockets and kind of fun things, you know, to tuck her recipe cards in. So that would be a fun project to make, like a family recipe book or something that, you know, from your grandmother or something. There's the chickens from my daughter's house. Those things are crazy. If you didn't know, I didn't have to. I babysat for my 4 grandkids last weekend, and they have chickens and roosters, geese, all kinds of farm critters, which I'm not used to. It was fun. This is like a little wedding journal, which is really pretty. And, you know, you could do something for a bride and groom, you know, or an anniversary book, or somebody that has, you know, been married 50 years. Another idea. This one is covered in metal, which is kind of cool. So this is kind of a little junk journal. This is coffee dyed paper. And that was kind of interesting. This one has a skinny spine. That's only 2. Whereas this one is the 3. You can see how this one has 3 strings in it. This one would only have 2. So you can hold more books in the larger one. This is a pretty one. Jenny made this, another little junk journal. And she took, and this is where it's fun to take all the dies that you have and stamps and just kind of create this little, this is a junk journal. So, you know, these little tags and just little random pieces of glassine bag, and you got a little applique there. And this was a pocket die I had a while ago. These are some tag dies. So, you know, just cut stuff out in the color that you're, you know, kind of taking on as a theme, and put them in a pile and add them in a little book. Kids love looking through these, so you could do one for your child or grandchild and just be thinking, you know, start collecting all the stuff that you want to put in your book. This one is from my friend Teresita. She lives in Puerto Rico and she handmade all of these flowers and, you know, put in these fun little things. So we're going to be doing some of this. She did like a little planner, and I actually kind of copied her idea because I love this of the split inserts here, you know, different ones. So there's lots of ideas to be had here. Hopefully this is not too much. This was cute too. This is like Dick and Jane. So you can also cut things out of like, what do you call those? Golden books. I collect them. And, you know, they're just have the cutest little illustrations. You can take stamps. We've got a set of rubber stamps, and we'll go through those when we look at the kit. This is another organizer type book that I made, and it's laminated. So I carried one like this in my purse for a long time. Now I got a smaller purse, so I can't quite carry that, but it's handy to have like on my desk if I want to make lists or whatever. Here's another idea to do with it. Now this is Anne Redfern. She took the cover and she added a book, but then she did like a little travel, I don't know if she was doing, it's like a walk. She lives in the UK, and it's like you can put your compass in here and carry that. So that's kind of a cool idea to do. All of these are made with that same book. So I know that we're gonna make a journal, but this could be a journal too. If you wanted to do like a sketchbook and then keep your watercolors in here. So you can combine other dyes. This is an older one. I don't think it's available anymore, but it just held my set of watercolors and pens. So that was kind of fun. Am I overwhelming you? This is my friend Tracy Evans. She made like this really cool art journal with like a oil spout thing, and she's got screening on here and all kinds of, she stitched on it, and you can do that on your mat board because it will hold up to pretty much anything. So she likes to do a lot of inking, and this is old sheet music. I'm trying to see what I haven't shown you before because I think I did. This is one made out of fabric, and that was, I used this a while ago, but that was my, you know, to do one. And here I had, that was one in my organized days. Now I have one little notebook, but you know, it's just kind of fun. There's one of those
Golden book.
golden books. So this is kind of a junk journal, but also planner. So it doesn't have to be one thing or the other. It's what fits for you. You know, so think about what it is you would use a book like this for. Now, here's another idea. This, if you know, here it is as a journal, but if you wanted, the thing about the die, you can cut it in half, and you can actually make 2 books out of the one piece. You know, you can take a piece, cut it in half. So maybe you want to make a little smaller, you know, a smaller one. So that's kind of a little set. I love that. I love that paper. What else do we have here? This is another one by Tracy. This is a junk journal that hasn't been junked up yet, but this is some cool paper that she did. Now, I don't know what that is because it's really rigid, and it might be watercolor paper, but it looks really cool. She's from the UK, but I don't know where I would get that, but I like that paper. What else? Here's another kind of junk journal-y one. I think this is cool. You know, it's fun to go through all the little pieces, and the pages don't all have to be the same size. You know, you can vary them and kind of put what you want in here. Photos you could do. And I have a whole list of things that you might want to put in there. Here's another one. This is like a skinny one. This is only 1 spine width, and this is a Christmas book. So you could do like a December daily. The other nice thing is some people like to really concentrate on the covers, and some people like to fill it with stuff. If you only like to make the covers and you don't want to make the books, you can buy these online. You can get the insert books. This die fits with the books that you can get, you know, on Amazon or whatever, or maybe in Maker Forte. So there's a subject one too. So I think let's just go through what some of you might want to use as a theme. Maybe you want to make an art journal. maybe you're traveling and you want to keep track of where you're going and put some maps in there. You can use maps as pages. That's fun. I'm surprised I don't have one because I usually have a traveler's notebook. When I go on a trip, I do that. I have little envelopes that are attached inside that I put my receipts in, and you could do a photo book, you could do a special event like we were talking about, a wedding, anniversary, the recipe book, the junk journal, the list book. Techniques, maybe you like to try inking and stenciling and things like that. You could do the technique and then make a list of the things that you use to do it on the other side. I've done that. A baby album, I don't think I showed you this one. I'm so mad. This is one for Nora, my little granddaughter. And I put her, I still haven't fixed it. I put the year that she was born and it was wrong. So I have to go and eventually I will give it to her. But I kind of like looking at it but I know she would like it too. And the nice fun thing about this is my husband, one day I went outside and I was putting something in the garbage and he had thrown out his baby album. And I immediately rescued it from the garbage and I scanned in. So this was actually a little card that his mom had gotten and put in his scrapbook. So I saved them all and went and got them. And that's my family. But anyway, this is kind of a fun thing. So you can collect all your colored, pink or blue or whatever color you want to make for a baby. And then bullet journal, that's kind of like it's just a different way to organize a planner. You'll know that when you see those little dots, and that's how you can, that's what a bullet journal is based on. Those are the bullets, and then you kind of connect them and make little squares, or you can, do all kinds of stuff. I've not done that a lot, but it's interesting to me. Planner, same kind of idea. Technical info, I do tutorials all the time, and then I say, where did I find that? How to make a scallop circle in Illustrator. So I kind of have a little book that has all those things organized. Also your passwords, that's a nice place you could do an insert book that has your passwords. And then just plain a diary, writing down things that happen to you. My mom has kept a diary, a journal all of her life. So that, would be a good thing for her. So that gives you some idea of the things that you can make with this book. All right. So let's see. I think let's just move on with this. So let me show you. Also, let me just tell you, if you want to follow me, I don't know if all of you guys are following me. I know that there's some people in the group that I know and some that I don't, but we have a blog we post each week, usually on Wednesday or Thursday. We have 3 to 5 new projects. So if you like the journal idea and you want to get more ideas, you can go to the blog and you can search journal and you'll get a whole bunch of ideas. I also have the Eileen Hall Fan Club, which is a creative community of 6,800 members. So if you want to come and join us there on Facebook, we just ask that you answer the questions and make sure that we, know you're a real person. I also have a Facebook page, Eileen Hall Designs. I do Facebook Lives twice a week. Now this week, I'm kind of switching this class with my Facebook Live. So if you are here in my group, you're not seeing me on my Facebook Live, you're here in class, but usually we're every Tuesday and every Thursday. So you're welcome to follow along on Facebook Live and see, what we're making. We may be making journals. We'll be making whatever the most recent dies out, or if somebody asks, how do you do that? Then we'll do that. I also have videos on YouTube. My Facebook Live stream to YouTube, so you can find them on there. I think they're easier to find on YouTube. I have an Etsy store if you're interested. You can go ahead over there, Eileen Hull Etsy shop. I have the other journals that I have and a bunch of other stuff. And then Instagram, I got hacked a while ago, so my Instagram is not huge, but I would love you to come over there and follow me. It's Eileen Hull, and that's where I am, you know, most places. So let's just take a look at this book here. This was really fun. Like I said, I made it last night. Okay, it was till about 5 in the morning. I got a little carried away, but it was it was really fun to make. And I used some of the things that are in the kit. So let's look at the kit. All right. So I'm hoping all of you got your box, and I'm going to take this stuff out. We can just take a look at it and see what we might want to use in here. I already used a piece of the cardstock, which is really nice and strong, and I'm going to keep my stuff for now in that box too. These are really nice, sturdy papers. Are these like 110 pound? Because I love them. When I make my little insert books, I like to use heavy duty paper because I don't want this to get messed up, you know, when I'm working with it. So I like a nice sturdy cover, and that worked great for that. I like to use grid paper. So if you want to, you can use that. I get mine at Dollar General. They have a nice grid pad. I like it because it doesn't have the holes on it, and you can use the whole sheet. And the other side of it is lined, so it's kind of cool. But use whatever you like, loose leaf or just plain, you know, paper. I like to use envelopes a lot, and we're going to be doing that when we go to the pockets and I forget the name of that class, but adding tucks, pockets, and tags. We're going to be, I should have added envelopes to that because we're going to use them a lot. This is, I don't know, I just went to town. I thought if I want to make a list, here's a fun little thing. I've been wanting to try that. This is one of the things that come in the kit. Aren't they cute? These little like seed packs, and they're adorable. There's also lace and some velvet ribbon, which is really pretty, some like organdy, you know, so these are nice to kind of add to the pages, the edges of your pages, if you want to do a vintagey thing, or to just tie it around as your closure. Paper bags are also fun to use in your books. You know, you can fold them in half and make them into pockets. Those are cool. And then the paper, I'm saving my vellum. I think that is so pretty. I've never seen that thick vellum. We have stencils, which I haven't gotten into yet, but I'm gonna. I think that's a really great background. You know, look at this cool hot air balloon and this bike. So if you're doing a travel book, that would be really cool. And, you know, the name of the class is Adventure Awaits, because I figure adventure comes in many forms. Whatever it is that you are looking to capture in your book, it will be an adventure to make it, and also you know, what it is that your subject is often an adventure, and putting it together. And yeah, we're going to talk about that. These are pages that I designed, and I'm really excited about these. They're pages that we're going to use to fit inside our book. And this would be kind of if you were doing a junk journal look. And kind of hard to get out here. But these were really fun to design. And actually, some of them are my grandfather. He was a florist. And I love my ledger paper. Oops. So these are really pretty, and these are just kind of layered patterns. Fun to play around with. Sorry, I don't mean to make you seasick. An old atlas, pretty little house. This is my grandfather, Herman Mamich and Son. And he somehow developed this sweet pea. He bred it or something. And I have these certificates from him of all of these. He won all these awards in the New York garden show for his sweet peas. So that's kind of cool. So these are just fun backgrounds, and we will be using these when we get into the inserts. These are hydrangeas that I grew in my yard. And these are just some old photos that I had found. Anyway, these are nice. I like them because they're double-sided. So when we use them in our book, we're not going to have to back them or anything. They will fit right in there. And then this is a beautiful stamp. Nice overall, and that should fit. I was wishing that I had done that here. I just didn't think of it, but I think that would be really pretty, all inked up, or even like watercolor, like inked up and then watercolored, and you could do that as a page, or you could do that on the inside or outside of your book. I think that would be really pretty. And then these are stamps that I designed that are, I printed them so you can see. Actually, there they are. And they're all kind of about travel, but they can also be used in other things, you know, suitcase, that's handy all the time. And then I really like these sayings. So I did it on a file folder, which I don't recommend because the ink kind of bled into the file folder. I did it on better paper, but I don't know if there it is. It's a lot clearer. See how crisp it is on here. I love that saying, not all who wander are lost, because I have a little trailer, and sometimes I deliberately get lost, and I think it's fun. So these are kind of little titles that we can use on our pages, and just a couple other little, that's fun, compass. So those will be good to use in the book. And then we've got some tags which will fit inside. You can see we can make they'd fit great in these little envelope pockets. So we'll be doing that. There's buttons. There is ink. And I don't know if everybody got the same color, but we can use these. And I don't know, I like to use these brushes to distribute the ink, but you know, there's lots of ways that you can do that. I know you guys probably have your own stuff, and use whatever you have. You know, this is not meant to cost $1 million, but there may be things that you decide you need, which is fine. I'm not going to stop you, but really a lot of the things you're going to have already in your stash, and you know, maybe you just need the finishing touch. Now, I want to talk to you about our journal book, because there was a little issue that happened. Sizzix very nicely donated the mat board, and Katie, who is with Alex, she cut the journals for us, which was great. I think she used the switch. So just something I want to tell you, that different machines have different pressures. So if you're cutting a scoreboard's die, I don't recommend that you use the switch, because it could cut through, as it did here. If you cut this with your Big Shot, and let's just do one so you can see, the machines do have different pressures. Hang on. I have a million journals on my desk here. All right, so this is the mat board, this is the die, and just let me go over this for a minute here. This is the cover, so you can see this is the cover piece. So you need 2 of these because we need 2 covers for a journal. Actually, if you wanted to wrap a cover around it and make like a wrap journal, you would cut 3 and attach it on. So cut as many as you like. And then these are the other pieces here that go to this die. All right. So this is the closure. So this is gonna bend around and, you know, close your book up. This is like a little tab. And then this is just a decorative piece on here. I stamped Adventure Awaits and I kind of colored it. And so these are the accessory pieces that come with the book. So let's just cut one and I'll show you the difference. But what we're going to do is we are going to, and actually this is a good thing to know, because if you want to make journals, there may not be a die that can make one. Maybe you need a certain size. So it's a good thing to kind of learn journaling and making the covers right from the start without even having a die. All right, now I lined my mat board up on my die and I'm going to roll that through. And I'll show you what it looks like when you cut it with your Big Shot, because the switch has very deep pressure, and also the Big Shot Plus and the Fold Away, they all have deep pressure, which means this scoring blade, which is right here, set into the die, is it has more pressure, and it pushes that roller down further into the die. The Big Shot is not. It's just a regular plain old Big Shot like it has been forever. And this is just normal pressure, which is designed to work with the scoreboard. So you see, normally you're going to have a little more resistance here than you will with the one that's cut with the switch. So we are going to learn next week. We're not going to do it this time. We're going to do it next week. And we are going to learn how to kind of back your spine and work with that so that, you know, we'll reinforce the spine. So to do that, you can use a couple things, and I think I put them on your supply list. And let's go over that too. This is where I'm talking about one of these things, one of these items, okay? A strip of muslin, cloth bandage tape, Tyvek, a texture roll from Sizzix or Craftex. It's a similar thing. These are all pieces of material that is just going to keep your spine together. You also could use like duct tape. That doesn't look so pretty unless you have pretty duct tape. You could use like a cereal box to reinforce it. So we're gonna do that next time, okay? Because that's gonna get into the actual creating the cover. But I just wanted to tell you before we got going on it that that's what happens. So if you find that you've got a gap here, don't worry about it, because we're gonna learn how to basically, you know, cut out a book from scratch next time, and how to, you know, construct the spine and all that. But if you can notice here, this one is how it normally cuts if you use Big Shot, which is what I suggest. But they're coming out with a crease pad for the switch that will give a gentler cut, and it will stop that, but it's not coming out until January, I think. So sadly, that's the situation. Anyway, you know, the thing about any of this, working with dies, working with paper, you just have to kind of play with it and get familiar with the tools that you have, depending on what die it is, or what, you know, machine you may have. They're all a little bit different, and they all have positive things. Like the switch, those things, they cut your intricate dies like nobody's business, but they are not quite as great with the scoreboard. So you just have to know what your limitations are on your machines and pick the ones that you're going to use the most, and just get to know them and work with them. So that is that situation. All right, let's go through the rest of the supplies while we're here. All right, scoring board, you guys, I'm sure you have one of them. I have a big one and a little one, because sometimes I don't want to get out this big one. It just takes up a lot of space. So I use this here. You know what, maybe, are there any questions? Because I am just blabbing away and I'm not even looking up in the thing.
The only one, Eileen, I've seen is someone asked if you could use the Vagabond with the die.
Yes, the Vagabond, that the pressure on that one is pretty good too, but I have cut that and it's been fine. So yeah, you could use that and not have it cut through. Now, there are other things that you can do, and we'll talk about them, but what I do, and because those other machines have been out for a while, oh, look at that, a bug just flew on my, you know, those other machines have been out for a little while. So when, for example, you're cutting leather, that is a little tricky too, because that's an organic material and that might cut through. So what I do in that case, and what you can do if you have a switch and you have this die and you want to cut it right now, what you can do is get a piece of felt, you can get a scrap of leather or a piece of cereal box. And when you go to cut your die, you take your material. All right, here's my mat board. This is what I want to cut, and I don't want it to cut through. You take your thing, whatever you found, you know, felt, your leather, your cereal box, you lay it on the score lines, you put this on top, and then you cut. And what that does is this piece here, the cut is absorbed by that like barrier, the buffer. So you can do it. It's just, you have to play with it, and, you know, it can be done. It's just, like I said, these machines all have their different tolerances, and you just have to play with whatever machine it is that you have. So it's a good thing to get to know your machine and what it can do. And, you know, just, you paid the money, you have the machine, just take it and be familiar with all of your pieces. The other thing that I didn't say, I did it, but I didn't tell you, you want to pick out these holes here, because if they start piling up, they will get packed down in there and they're really hard to remove. So after I cut one journal, which is 2 pieces, I usually pick these little holes out. Another thing that I do sometimes, and I don't know why I didn't do it here, but I will take a piece of foam, like just fun foam that looks like this, you know, and I put some double-sided adhesive on the back, and I just cut a little piece and place it on here and cut it, and the foam will go in, because what happens is this rubber here gets packed down, you know, by the mat board that's accumulating in the holes. So if you put the foam on there, it will help them eject, so you don't have to pick them out as much. This stuff that I have in here has lasted forever. There's foam in there, and it's looking great, so I don't have to do that so much.
And
but
Eileen, Jay
Yeah.
asked if you can use grunge board for the cover.
I don't know. I don't have any grunge board. That, it seems like that was a little floppy,
Mm.
as I remember. But if, you know, if that's how you want your cover to be, you could give that a try. You could also try adding something heavy duty, like maybe a piece of your 110-pound paper that came in the kit to the back of it. You know, what I would do is just take the grunge board, lay down some double-sided adhesive, put your paper on the back, and then cut it. You know, and that would support it a little bit. Okay. The other thing too, if you wanted to add paper to your mat board so that you had a cover that looked like this, what I did on here, I'll just tell you, and if you want to see how this is done, I have a bunch of videos on napkin decoupage, but what I did was I took my mat board, I added a piece of my double-sided adhesive to it, I peeled it up, and I added this text paper that's just old dictionary papers to the mat board. Then I flip it over and cut it. Now, here's another thing that I do to my dies to make them look horrible, but they actually are working for me. When you're cutting with this die, you know, one of the covers, because you're butting the spines up together, one has to go this direction, one has to go that direction. So if I'm cutting something that has text and I say, all right, I want to cut my front, and I put my text paper so it's going this way, I can read it. I turn it over and I cut my front, and then I take my next sheet, and if I want my text going this way, then you put your text on here and you turn it over and cut it that way. You will do this one time wrong and you'll understand what I'm talking about. But we can actually do this maybe next week. So, you can see, but I mean, you already have the pieces, but just if you're interested in how the die works, that's how it works. So I have done that, and then I just decoupage some napkin on the top, and but just seeing lemons everywhere. I don't know, are you guys seeing lemons and yellow? Stamperia stone paper. Oh yeah, that would be cool. Yes, the die is available. Do you have that die, Alex? Do you have that?
I believe so. Bethany literally just lost power, so she lost the Zoom.
Oh, okay.
So I can't check in with her, but I thought we did have them. But otherwise, of course, you've got your Etsy store. So
Yeah, okay.
with us.
Yes, this is a current die. There are some that they phase out after a while, but this one is still available. This is just pretty popular, the size of it. So that's how we put it together. We cut the two spines, put them together, glue them together, and then you have your cover. So this is what I want you to think about for next time, is what you want to put on your cover. Now, there are so many things that you can do. If you like to letter, you can just write directly on here. If you like to paint or watercolor, the mat board is a beautiful surface for you to do that. So you could take your inks and just go to town and, write or color or stencil directly on your mat board, or you could cover it with paper. You could use the papers in the kit, or you could, make your own papers. Whatever it is that you want to do, we're going to be applying that to your cover. So we'll have a front and a back. So just keep that in mind for next time if you want to add paper or whatever. Now, if you want to add paper, since this is already cut, what you would do is adhere it, either with, a lot of people use like, I use the double-sided tape no matter what, because I'm just impatient, and that's just what I use. But a lot of people use like a collage medium or a glue, so you could just glue your paper on there. And then what I would do is take your little mat and just your craft knife and go around and trim the edges, or with your scissors if you're good at it, and make it fit, 'cause that's, you don't want stuff hanging off, but then you can always sand it down. But that's what we're going to be doing next time. So if you could bring one of those items, we will kind of go through how we're going to put this together. And I got all out of whack here. I never finished. So you want to bring your scoring board, your bone folder. That we're going to probably use every week, because we're going to be scoring and folding paper, and that will be a constant. The craft knife, like I said, you might want to trim around here if you're adding paper. Self-healing mat, so you don't, cut on your surface. Your adhesives. Now I use art glitter glue. This is a horrible old thing, but it just keeps working, so I don't throw it out. So I like to use this for any pockets or fine things, because I like the fine tip on it, but you bring whatever you want. Sometimes I use a glue stick, and you might want to try that to add your paper on with. The only thing about that is sometimes it doesn't stick forever. So, that's up to you. Red line tape, I like that for the places where there's a lot of stress. So when I'm putting my spine together, that's what I use. Picker and poker tool, that would be this guy, which is so pretty. I love this. Crocodile, if you have one, that's handy for poking holes. So like, say you were going to cover this with paper, you might need your crocodile to punch a hole, once you get your paper on here. So that's handy. The smaller crocodile matches the hole in the journal. Okay. So also this corner chomper, I don't know if I have that on here. I don't think I do, but if you have one of these and you like rounded corners, these are nice to just kind of finish off, you know, I use that here to just finish off my book. And there's also ones that have patterns or, you know, different edges. You want scissors, and actually I have a confession, Alex, don't be mad at me, but I went through my box from NAMTA and I found that I think I took this out of your demo. So
All right. I have plenty of pairs of scissors, Eileen. It's all good.
well, I'm so sorry. I thought, oh no, they look so nice, but I don't have them. So I have been using them though. I found them a couple days ago. They work really well. So I recommend them, but when I see you next time, I will bring them. A 1-inch paintbrush, that would be in case you want to kind of seal anything. And I just use like a, you know, junky, this one is probably messed up, but one like that to just kind of slather on if you're decoupaging or anything. Elastic, for this size book, I use a 1.5 to 2 millimeter elastic. And the reason I do that is because you want something that's strong enough to hold your book pages in. So if you had some skinny little Dollar Tree elastic, it would stretch out and it would not hold your book in. So you need something heavy duty. I get mine on Amazon. I find that the 1.5 is really nice for most books, but if you have something really heavy, I would get the 2 millimeter. Otherwise, I just go with the 1.5. You can get that at like Joann's or wherever too. That's just the white sewing elastic, but just make sure it's the 1.5 at least. We talked about this. So next time, bring one of these things, or you can bring a couple of them and try, you know, which one you think you might like best. I'm going to demo all of them, and then you can pick which one you think looks the best. Okay. Also, I love these binder clips, or actually these, I have tons of them. I get them in Dollar Tree, and the reason I like these is because they have this silicone here, and sometimes when you're trying to keep things together, it will make a mark on your book or whatever, but these don't because they have that little silicone thing. So I like having these on hand if you're gluing something together and waiting for glue to set. And then these are optional distressing tool if you like the edges of your pages kind of distressed, you know, then I have this. Apparently I stole I'm seeing a pattern here. This says Prima on it, but I did teach a class with them. Anyway, I have this. So this has a blade in here, which will kind of, you know, beat up your edges of your pages. You could also use a craft knife or something. Just be careful. Leslie is shuddering because she thinks that I'm going to chop my hand off one time with my craft knife or something. Also, ephemera, which is just like little pieces of lace or trim, paper scraps, doilies, ticket stubs, old notebook paper, anything vintage, any kind of old advertising, old photos. They all look kind of cool if you're going for that look, which is kind of the junk journal-y look. And then washi tape is always handy. It's nice to have just on hand. I used it to just kind of tape this into my book. So, you know how much you like to use washi tape. So if you use it, bring it along. So what else? Let me look at my list, which I hope I can find. Where did I put that? I had a little index card somewhere. I think I said everything, but oh, here they are. Yeah, we talked about all this stuff. Okay, so next week, what I would like is that we make our covers. So you've seen kind of what we're looking at, and I'm sure everyone's is going to look different, and they're all going to be so cool. And you're probably going to make some mistakes, which is fine because you can make another one. You can make 100 of them. So I hope that when we go into this, think of it as like a little workshop and not to the kind of thing where it has to be perfect, because nothing's perfect. And actually those little imperfections make things even better than perfect because it's got a piece of you in it. And I don't ever mind that. I like that. So let's see, let's look at the questions. Melissa wishes she had a dollar store. I know, I'm sorry. Are you in the UK, Melissa? Kim, you have used double-sided tape with faux leather and then stitch the sides. Yes, that's another thing we can do. I'm not going to do it here because I don't have a sewing machine that is available, but you can definitely, you could stitch. Like I have an old Singer and I stitch down the middle of some of mine. So you can absolutely do that. Let's see what else. You keep getting booted. Sorry, Jen. Can you order refill of the items? I think we're going to have that next week. Is that right, Alex? That will be an option.
Yeah, they'll be available next
Oh, you
week.
said
So
that, yeah.
refills of the seed packets, the paper pack, the lace, all that stuff will be available next week.
Very good. Okay, Jay is big into lemons too. Okay. I have to stop. I just bought about 10 packs of napkins that are all lemons. Okay, does anybody, if you wanted to do leather, how would you stick it down? Okay, Kim, that's a whole other thing. But if you want to, you can see on my page or on my YouTube channel, I've got how to work with leather because that is a little different in how you do that. So I would just go to YouTube and watch the video. And if you have any questions, just ask next time. But if you had a thin leather and you wanted to add it to the cover, we could do that. But it would have to be very thin, like almost like paper thin, you know, real thin leather. What else? Any other questions? So yes, I thought the box was amazing with supplies. Oh yeah, that was beautiful. I love it. And we will use all of them, but you know, we have another 5 weeks. So we're gonna, well, next time we'll get into the nitty gritty. Yes, Mona, we did talk about the score lines cutting through. So next week we're gonna learn how to repair that, which is actually a good thing to know because sometimes it happens anyway. Even if you use the right machine, depending on how thick your material is, like the Golden books, sometimes they cut through because they're a little thicker than you're supposed to use. So we have to, it's a good thing to know. Okay, good. You can't wait to dig in. I know, I was hoping we could get to that, but we don't have time tonight, but we'll come back in 2 weeks. And so what I would like is if we can all have an idea of what it is, what your subject is going to be, have one of those items so we can work with our spine, have paper if you want to cover it, and if you're going to work directly on your cover, like with lettering or anything, you might want to do that first because I don't know if we'll have time to do it in class. So just you know, we can talk in the group if anybody has questions between now and 2 weeks from now. Just tag me, you know, like send it to me so I know there's a question for me. Okay. Anything else?
I think that's it. I mean, as Eileen says, if you have any questions over the next couple of weeks, you can tag her in the group, or if it's something that you maybe are missing from your box or there's something like that, then make sure to tag Bethany. She will check on those as well. And in 2 weeks, hopefully I'll be home. I think I'm gonna do a recipe book that's on my plan, so.
You said that the first time.
Yeah, I like that idea. So
Yeah.
yes, thank you. And if I can't wait to do this. I'm so excited. So
I know. It's
thank
hard.
you
It's
again,
hard.
Eileen, for agreeing to do this with me this summer.
Oh, it's
And
fun.
yeah, so I'm going to, Bethany has sent everyone out the YouTube link. So if you want to revisit this and watch it again and again, you absolutely can. As I say, a PDF wrap up will come out on next week when Amanda's back from vacation. And don't forget to use your code Summer Camp for any of those extra things you might want that Eileen's been through tonight. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks, I guess. So stay safe, everyone. Stay not too hot if you're in Phoenix. It's insane here. And yes.
Not that hot. God.
All right, everyone. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. Have fun. I can't wait to hear what the themes are. Bye.
All right.